Hey guys, it's me, Courtney from Know Your Produce, and today I'm sharing my sourdough crumb cake. It is so delicious, perfect paired with fresh or fruit baked in, and we are going to show you how. So let's go to make it. I am using some flour. I use an all-purpose flour with cornstarch, but you could also use a cake flour for it to be like a more tender crumb. We have food allergies, so I am using what I can, which is flour mixed with cornstarch. Then we're going to also add in cinnamon, salted butter, and brown sugar and granulated sugar. Now, if you didn't want to use salted butter and use unsalted, just make sure you compensate for the salt by adding 1/4 teaspoon. Now we're going to get in there with our hands because our hands are warm and it really gets it to that nice sandy, crumbly consistency. You could use gloves if you're a little scared to touch it. Now we're going to take that wrapper from our butter and use it all over the pan to nicely grease it. So now in my stand mixer, I have some butter and sugar, and we're just going to cream that until it's nice and fluffy. And you can see it's fluffy when it's sticking to the bottom. And you're just going to want to scrape that up. During the process, I'm adding in my sourdough starter. I'm also adding in milk, vanilla, and an egg. And that is going to just mix into this batter. And don't worry if it gets a little curdled looking. That is absolutely fine. It's just the butter. So I'm actually not really using butter here. This is actually a dairy-free cake. And the reason I made this is because we couldn't have sour cream, and the sourdough discard really makes up for that sour cream. And what I'm using is a plant-based butter. I use Country Crock plant-based butter sticks, and they work so well. Again, we're using some flour and cornstarch to make up for that cake flour that I can't use. And then we're also adding in some baking powder. Since we're using a sourdough discard, it's not active sourdough starter, then we need a leavening agent, and that is baking powder. We're going to scrape that down and make sure that all the butter is incorporated, and it is. And then I'm just going to place that right into our prepared pan. And once that is in our pan, I'm going to make sure and nicely smooth it all across the edges because you want to make sure that the cake is nice and even. It does spread a little tiny bit, but not too much. So do your best spreading it edge to edge as much as possible. And then we're going to take that crumbled crumb mixture that we made prior and then just crumble it all over the top of the cake. Now you could double this if you'd like, if you want a thicker crumb. And then we're going to take some powdered sugar and pretend like it's snowing on our cake because who doesn't like powdered sugar on their cake? Bye guys.